recommend go. Okay, so the recording has already started, so I think it's time for me to give you some prompts connected with exercises with Easter. Generally, teaching culture is really, really important, and I have a presentation about teaching culture, but I will not present it here. It is just some theory, but the presentation is really nice if you work with secondary school students or with adults who are quite advanced or intermediate at the intermediate level. I will also send the presentation. You feel free, you can use it. That's my presentation generally about teaching culture. Okay, so let's start, because what works most is, okay, what works most, you can see the folder here, and you can see a lot of exercises which I have for you. Really, there are a lot of exercises, and when we work first, exercises for very small kids. I love working with crafts. And if you want, I will not have time today, but if you want, or if you would like to, I really recommend, go to my YouTube channel, where you can find me recording some crafts which I make for young learners. You can use it, you can watch it, and you can follow me, and you can do it with your students, or you can play my YouTube film for your students. It is recorded in a very slow way, that you can prepare the material with students, all the pieces of paper, all glue, scissors, crayons or colored pencils, and you can enjoy crafts and enjoy English together with your children and together with me. So please do it. I have got another person who is waiting. Hello, Carolina, I know that you are here. Okay, and now I will show you just a few pieces from that book. You will have all of them. How to make crafts. Children are very active, especially at tampering and at moving. So when we teach them, we should use things which just occupy their hands, occupy their legs, and of course that's the way we occupy their minds. So when they do things, when they make things, when they see colors, when they cut, when they stick, when they use the glue, whatever they use, but when they can tamper with things, then they are more occupied. Then you will not have problems with discipline. And when you make a craft step by step together with children, then you don't have problems with discipline. You can show, of course, it can be like that you can show the ending, you can show the final product, but you can also show just the first part, like number one, for example, and you can tell children what they are to do, and you do it or you make it together with them. So you can read the instruction. What I like about the book is that teachers don't have to find out the instructions on their own. Teachers have the instructions ready. So you read sentence by sentence and you make the thing together with children. And when they see you making and when they hear you saying it in English, they will just understand. They will not follow the voice. They will follow what you make, but they will understand what you say because they see. So I do recommend making crafts together with children, just step by step. So this is a big flower print. You can make the, sorry. That's not what I wanted. Moment, okay. Okay, and the ending is quite nice. Okay, moment. Oh, that's what happens at the end. Okay, so when you look just at the final product, you can see, oh, it is just about, I don't know, flowers, but there are colors. Then you can revise the numbers. You can revise the adjectives like smaller, bigger, big, small, little, whatever. And of course, with children, you practice the vocabulary connected with instruction. So I do recommend, moment, I want to go further. Where is Dalej? Okay, here, moment. Oh, yes. Okay. Then another craft, which I do recommend making, is boxes and tags. So it doesn't matter that you do it in English. For children, there is a product, a final product that they are interested in. But for you, it's the language which you learn. Look how much English is connected with just with the box. It's not just a box, okay? That's the instruction. And when you look at the instruction more closely, you will see that a lot of things are repeated, because when we work with children, we should repeat and repeat. So there is always a verb fold. There is always a verb draw. There is always a verb color. There is always a verb use, okay? And of course, we have got also conditionals. When the paint is dry, cut around the lines, okay? So you can use the language which may seem very difficult. You may use the grammar which seem quite advanced, but when you make it with children, they will not, they don't mind. They will not mind that you use English at that very advanced level. They see the products, they see the colors, and of course, when you say the instructions, you make the instructions with children, and then the final product. Bread shape. So you can also make such really colorful things connected with English, but we do them or make them in English. So you can use your talents. Maybe that's why Asia said that I am an interesting person, I can say, but I am also interested in different things. So we cut with children, we color with children, we use different materials because I want every lesson to be really interesting, and I want the child to take something in hands after the lesson, because that makes the sense of the lesson. Children may not remember the language after the first lesson, but when they bring home some bread shapes like the stars here, maybe they will remember that this is a star. Just maybe. Of course, next time we repeat, and with children we should repeat and repeat. We can make gift wraps, okay? So you can learn and you can teach children how to draw a bunny. I don't know if there are many or 100% of teachers who can draw a bunny in such an easy way. So this is the way how you can learn how to draw the bunny, and then you can draw the bunny together with your children, and they say, oh, the teacher speaks English, but the teacher can also draw. So I really like the book. You can draw a lot of bunnies in different ways. Okay, so I think that you know what the book is about, and the book will go to you. When you work with a little bit more advanced students, it can be, I like the sheep here, for example. You can divide or cut the piece into six, the piece of paper into 6 pieces. And then you divide children into 6 groups, okay? You can separate the drawing from the written instruction, and you can ask children to find out the drawing to the instruction. Okay, so we will have 6 groups, and each group gets 1 instruction, and then you can put the drawings somewhere. They can be put on the wall, or they can be put on your desk. Then children in a group are to read the instruction. They are to try to understand what the instruction tells them to do. And then they come to your desk or they go to the wall and they try to find the corresponding picture. So it is a matching game, but it involves more reading. You can even do it with students in primary school, 6th or 7th grade. They will like it. It is connected with Easter, but it is connected with a lot of drawings. And when they find out which picture goes or which drawing goes with which instruction, then you can ask them to put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the first instruction to the 6th one. Here on the piece of paper, you have got all numbers, but you can erase the numbers, so students will have to find out what should be done or what should be made first and what should goes next. So they are more responsible for the teaching learning process. They do a lot of reading. There is a peer learning and teaching, because when they work in a group, somebody knows more words. Some students don't know a word. They can ask a friend what it means. So they learn how to teach one another. So I really love it. So it is autonomy. Then they will have to discuss in a group. So there is a kind of negotiating. So they learn how to negotiate, which picture goes with which instruction. They can take only one picture from the wall, or they can take only one picture from the desk if you decide on putting the pictures, the drawings on your desk, okay? And then they will have to work with the whole class to decide which picture should be first and which instruction is to be first. So they read a lot of times the same text, and it's good. And then when everything is ready, and I do recommend making the instructions A3 sizes, and the same with pictures, because then you can put on the board picture number 1 and the instruction number 1, picture number 2, instruction number 2, etc., etc. So on the board, children can see the pictures and the drawings, and then you can ask them to work with words. Why not? You can call out a word, for example, draw. And you can ask one child, a volunteer, or you can point to a child who comes to the board, take it can be a chalk or it can be a marker, and the child is to underline or draw a circle around a word or a verb, draw. So as you can see, there are a lot of, the word draw is put many times, at least once under each picture. So then they see draw, 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 draw. You can ask them to count how many times they can see a verb draw, and I am sure that after the lesson they will know the word draw, at least the word draw. With all the students, you can give that piece of paper A4 size, like presented here. Each side, one group gets one instruction, one piece of paper with the 6 instructions, and then you can ask them to use a green marker for verbs, a red marker for nouns, and let's say an orange marker for adjectives. Okay, and again, they are to work in a group. They have to decide which words are verbs, which words are nouns, and which words are adjectives, and they have to underline or circle them with the corresponding marker, orange, red, and green. Okay, when they have finished, and you on the board you have got A3 sizes, you can again ask them, okay, so what verbs can you see? And then from each group, the person can say once what verbs they see. Again, they can come, they can underline, or they can circle. It is good when you work that way, that first they work in a group and then you work as a whole class, because again, you teach them autonomy, you teach them negotiating skills, and they can discuss what verbs, nouns, and adjectives are, and they can quarrel, they can have arguments, they will have to decide as a group about the verbs, about the nouns, and about the adjectives they can see. And of course, you can correct something, or they can correct themselves when you ask them to come to the board. So a lot of things can be done, even if we have really beautiful paintings, really beautiful drawings, which may seem really childish. They are not childish. And of course, there must be the time within the lesson that children can make the chalky sheep on their own. So you can give them three pieces of paper, each for one group, and you can discuss, you can ask them to follow the instructions, and they can make the sheeps on their own, and then we will have really beautiful sheepy or chalky sheepy drawings, which we can use as decorations for Easter. So something which is funnier, something which is easier, something to calm children down, but they will do it for sure in 100%, because we have spent so much time on discussing the vocabulary, looking and reading the instructions that many times that they will not have problems. And why do I recommend crafts, or why do I recommend the time during the lesson to calm down? Everybody needs to be energetic during the lesson from time to time, but we also need the time to calm down. And when we ask children at the end of the lesson to sit, to draw, to do something more relaxing, they will love the lesson even more. And they will have the final product, which they, of course, need and which they really need, okay? And so I have a lot of things like that, and you know what to do with them. That's the moment, that's the first, okay, yes. Okay, and now I have some black and white exercises for you, which will also involve some crafts, much easier. And when you look at the corresponding instructions, again, you will see the same verbs like draw, like circle, like use. You will see the same nouns like eyes, nose, so parts of the body. So it doesn't matter whom you teach, the words are limited to discussing the colors, discussing the numbers, revising parts of the body, revising. When we talk about Easter, we also talk about spring. So we expand the vocabulary into the vocabulary connected with spring. Why not? Okay, so again, I have got some crafts for you which you can use. You know how to use them now. So it is just enough if you decide on making one craft with children in the way I have already told you, and then you will know what to do with other classes. You will know what to do next year. And here we are discussing Easter, but the same things can be done with Christmas. The same things can be done with Halloween. We just replace the vocabulary, we replace lamps into with what? Okay, with something connected with Halloween or Thanksgiving Day. We have got daffodils or tulips, sorry, these are tulips to make. And then in autumn, we can make them roses. Okay, so it's up to you, but I do recommend working with crafts because children will think only about crafts, and you teachers will think about the vocabulary, the words they learn. Okay, good. Some more exercises. Okay. When we discuss Easter, we should have flashcards and we should have word cards. And even if you work with really small kids, I do recommend making flashcards together with kids. You can bring black and white flashcards connected with Easter. Here we have got daffodil, we have got Easter bunny, we have got flowers, we have got, there is a chick, or we can have also, because a cross, because it is also connected with Easter. Moment, I will put it, okay, like that. Of course, a lamb is needed. Okay, maybe like that you will see a chocolate, Easter bunny, and of course we will have to have Easter bun because we teach culture. And I also have a recipe for Easter buns, and I will send you the recipe. You can make in a very easy way the buns together with your kids. Of course, when kids are smaller, you will make more things, but you will do it in English. When you have got, when you work with teenagers, you can give them the recipe to take home. They can work out the recipe and they can bring ready hot cross buns to classes. Of course, hot cross buns are distributed on Friday, just before Easter. We can talk about the tradition, we can read about the tradition, but we don't meet at school on Friday, just before Easter. But they can bring hot cross buns on Tuesday, and we can just discuss about the traditions. Then we can compare what what people in England bake for Easter and what we in Poland bake for Easter. So we can make a culture thing, which is comparing sweet things people in England eat to sweet things people in Poland eat at Easter. And they can also bring the recipe for Easter bun their mommy or their grandmother makes. They can bring the recipe in Polish. We can translate the recipe during the lesson. Why not? Because grammar translation method is also a method of teaching. Of course, we shouldn't overuse our mother tongue, but children should, or generally students, doesn't matter the age, they should know that we use also that method to learn and that method to teach. So I also recommend using some Polish English translation. And when one person brings a recipe in Polish for the Easter bunny, then we can make a copy. We can divide students into groups. Each group gets a recipe. They get dictionaries. They can use mobile phones or they can use paper versions of dictionaries. And I do recommend, because I know how to use a dictionary, but I know that children or teenagers cannot. They don't know actually the alphabet, and it's very difficult for them to look up the words in a dictionary. So it is a good way to teach them how to use a dictionary as well. So they can try to translate the recipe in groups. Then we can make a recipe, a translation of the recipe on the board, and then we can somehow discuss the differences between translation. We can discuss the differences between the synonyms they use or between the grammar points they use. When we work with secondary school students, then we can discuss more about the language itself. so-called meta language. Why not? They should be aware that we can use different synonyms, that we can replace words with different words, that verbs can be used differently. Then we have got adjectives, like, for example, annoyed, angry, envious, etc., etc. So there are different adjectives that have the strength of adjective differs. So we can also discuss it here with secondary school students or in primary school, but more advanced and older students, we can really discuss the language. Why not? We can discuss the grammar we use while writing the recipe, okay? And then the perfectly translated recipe is on the board. They can compare with the recipes they have, with the translation of recipes they have made, and then they really learn a lot. And of course, we should ask them to bake the buns. When there is a possibility, a chance to bake a bun at school, it is good. But if not, then we can ask them to do it at home with mommy, daddy, I don't know, maybe with brothers, sisters, siblings, whoever they have, they can, and we can ask them to take a photo and send the photo to everybody can see it, or we can ask them to print the photo, to bring the photo to classes, and then we can make a poster from all the Easter buns children managed to bake at home, and then they can label the buns by whom the bun was made, who was involved, or they can also write a story about the bun. Yes, today we baked a bun. So we replace the recipe to the past simple form. Okay, so there is a story. Yes, today I decided to bake a bun, an Easter bun. I asked my mom. She didn't have time. I asked daddy, he didn't have time. Then I asked my sister, my older sister, she had time, so she helped me. We prepared, we took, okay? So we just spent more time with recipe, but then we switch into past simple, and it is great. Of course, we will not do it with very small kids, but I know that there are teachers from various levels, and I just want to show you that whatever the material you have, you can use it regardless the age of your students, regardless the level of your students. You can make things really, really useful for students of yours, even if they are really, really, really advanced. Okay, so coming back to flashcards, I do recommend printing black and white versions. I do recommend distributing the flashcards among your students who can color. And if you ask them to color the way you want, this is a picture dictation. You can ask them, okay, show me a yellow crayon, or show me a yellow pencil, color the cheek yellow. Show me an orange crayon, color the beak of the cheek orange, etc., etc. Okay, so it's not like that you give them a picture, a drawing to color. You have to do it English, and you give instructions in English. You will revise colors. You will try to teach them the words, and they will listen and hear the words over and over again, and they will learn. Then when all the drawings are colored, they are distributed, they are presented on the board or on the wall, then you can ask questions. What color is the beak of the chick? What color is the chick? So these are questions. They will just, the answer is the color. And you can say true, false sentences. You say, the chick is yellow, and children say yes, or children say true. You can say that the chick is brown. They will have to say no. okay, or false. If the sentence is false, again, you ask the question, what color is the chick? So you can do a lot of things just having, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 black and white drawings brought at the beginning of the lesson. And then, as I told you some minutes ago, I do recommend distributing or showing word cards. So on the wall, there are flashcards, and then you show the word cards. You say a chick. This is a chick, and you say, show me the chick, and children are to look around, and they should point to the flashcard with a chick. You can ask one child to take the chick. So you say, take the chick, and stick the word under the picture. So they go to the flashcard and they glue the word chick under the flashcard chick. Believe me or not, but even children who are 4 will do it with you, because you show a word card and you say chick, chick, chick. And it doesn't matter what is written, they hear that you say chick, and they know that chick is in the picture somewhere. Somebody has already colored the chick, and they will distribute the words just for you. And then when all the flashcards and all the word cards are presented or distributed somewhere on the wall, you should ask children, okay, now everyone stand up, go to the chick. So they stand up and they are running to the chick. And then you say, come back, come back, come back. They sit next to you or in front of you on the carpet. And then again you say, okay, stand up, everyone, show me a lamb. They have to stand up and they have to run to the picture and to the word card presenting a lamb. Okay, then you say, come back, come back. Okay, so you do it with all the pictures, they come back, and then that's a very good moment for starting individual work. You point to a child, and it is good when this child, the first child, should be that more talented child, the one you know that will know what you want from the child. Okay, so you say, Piotrek, stand up, show me a lamb, and only Piotrek stands up and goes or runs to the picture you want the child to show. Okay, and then you say, okay, Piotrek, come back, come back. Then you say, Basia, stand up, show me a chick, etc., etc. Okay, and as long as all the children have managed to point to the correct flashcard, it's time for another work, and it's time for introducing another instruction. Give me a chick. Give me a chick. Now you want children to take the flashcard and the word card from the wall to give it to you. Okay, and then again you point to a child. First time, the more talented one, or the one you know will make the activity in a very easy way. Okay, so you say, give me a chick. Piotrek, give me a chick, give me a chick. And Piotrek stands up, goes to the flashcard and the word card showing a chick, and that word card comes back to you. So when we teach children, we should remember that every time, every moment of the lesson is the moment for teaching children English. They know almost nothing, but if you use English only at the beginning or only at a certain time of the lesson, they will not be surrounded by English. They will not get accustomed to hearing English, and they will not understand, and they will not learn. So we should use every moment of the lesson to teach English, teach culture, okay? And of course, you can, and teach language, you can, and you even sometimes should come to Polish, because if we want to discuss Easter with kids, you cannot discuss it in English because they will not be able or be capable of saying you things connected with Easter in English. They will have to switch into Polish. But at least you can ask them how many chicks they can see, how many tulips are there in their houses, how many daffodils are there in their houses. So they can give you some answers in English connected with Easter. But of course, you should allow them to say, oh, in Polish, I saw chicks, I saw chocolate, I saw chocolate rabbits. They say it in Polish. My mommy always gives me a chocolate bunny. We always dye or color Easter eggs. Okay, so we always decorate Easter eggs. They can say it in Polish, but then you say it in Polish. Then you say, oh, in English, you say, oh, and you show you have got really colorful Easter eggs. Okay, so today we will also color or dye, or we will make our Easter eggs really, really colorful. Okay, so you translate things children say in Polish into English during the lesson. So I do recommend trying to speak as much English as possible. And this is the way we or children compare cultures, because and maybe they may be surprised that in England, in America, in other countries, they also have Easter eggs. They also have Easter bunnies. But they have hot cross buns, but we have Easter buns. Okay, so we teach them culture, and we teach them how to be tolerant, and we teach them that we are all different. We speak different languages, we follow different customs, but still we are people, and we should teach them that every culture, every custom is fantastic. Sometimes if we don't know a custom, we say it is bad, okay? But if we show our children different customs, different ways of following traditions, then we make them really tolerant people. And it is good because we all should be tolerant to cultures. We all should be tolerant to languages people use. Okay. Another activity for kids here, but and which are connected with maths here, because it is this is the pieces with numbers. Okay. Children are just to write missing numbers. Okay, very nice activity. If you make the piece A3 size, you can ask children to work in a group. You can ask, if it is A4 size, you can ask children to work in pairs, or you can ask children to work individually. You can do it that way. First, children can be given a piece individually. Then you can ask them to work in pairs and compare what they have written. So we have got peer correction, peer teaching, peer learning as well, okay, and peer controlling. Then we can ask them to work in a group of 4 people, and then they can again compare who is right, who is wrong, and only later you can check. So your checking, your controlling is the 4th time, okay, not the first one, the 4th one, okay. It is great. And here it is the activity for very small kids. So just writing numbers may seem quite easy, but you can replace numbers with some maths calculation. It can be, you can write 1 plus 4. You can write whatever you want, okay? So you can make some children can also make some calculations. And when we have got a little bit more advanced students, then the piece may look like that. Okay, so it is more advanced, so it means that we can put more advanced maths calculations, maths exercises as well here. So again, individually, in pairs, in groups, and a whole class. Okay, so 4 times children can look at the same exercise, and they for sure will remember, and they for sure will not be afraid when you are the 4th person who checks the answers. Okay, I really like the exercise. And I have something which I really love. It's also connected with maths, and we can do it for every holiday or for every season. Here we have, when we work with really small kids, and whenever we work, we should revise colors, we should revise numbers. And sometimes we have problems with finding out the numbers of activities which will be colorful, which will be interesting, which will be involving, amazing, and of course teachable too. And I do recommend such an exercise. Well, just you have to copy, you have to cut out, and you have to distribute among children. We have got numbers from 1 to, I will show you, 30. So when you prepare such what I do recommend when you work with children, it is good to laminate before cutting out the exercises. Whatever the exercise, I like laminating, because then you can reuse. Children can also use markers and write something, or cross, or make a tick, whatever. So they can use markers, and you can easily wipe the markers, and still children, you can use here the X or the material again. Okay, so you can copy, you can laminate, you can cut out, and you can distribute. But you can also ask children to laminate if you have that machine in the kindergarten or at school, or you can laminate at home and bring it to the kindergarten, to classes, or to classes in primary school, and children can cut the eggs. And when they cut, everything is somehow shuffled like cards, and then they can work out. Sorry, they will have to when there is number 1, it's quite easy to find, okay, the shell, or the part of the shell which is needed. But when there is number 13, 14 or more, children will have to count, so they can do it. You can ask children to give you numbers 13, 14, 1, 5, etc., etc. You can ask them to give you numbers. You can ask them to give you the top of the shell with the corresponding number. Or when you have got all the shells on your desk, you can distribute numbers among children, and you can show the top of the shell, and you can ask how many, okay? You can ask what number, so they will have to try to count, here, these are the circles, and then they will have to show the corresponding number. Or you can show the top shell, the top part of the shell. You can say what number. So you will have to count the number, and then the person who has got the number 13 will have to stand up and say it's mine. The person will have to go to the board and make the egg on the board. Okay, so there are a lot of ways you can use the shells, or you can distribute the top of the shell among students, so they will have to count the circles. You show the number, so the bottom of the shell, you say the number, it's number 13, and the child who has got 13 circles will come to the board and will make the whole egg. Okay, I told you that this activity can be used. I like ice cream. I like the cones, and I like the balls. Okay, so you can make it ice cream, and so you can play the same game with the use of ice cream. You can have an apple. So in September, so at the beginning of the school year, when you revise numbers, you can use apple. So apple is divided into 2 halves, and then you can use the apples. When we discuss Christmas and you want to revise the numbers, you can use glass balls, which I divided into halves, and then we can have numbers. When it is spring, you can use ladybirds. Okay, also, so there are a lot of, what I like St. Valentine's Day with the heart, which children can, which are divided into halves, and then they will have to try to find and make the whole heart. So the same kind of activities can be, the same kind of the activity can be used over and over again, depending on the time of the year, depending on the season, and depending on the cultural things which we are to discuss. So so you can really use it over and over again. I hope you like the exercise. Of course, when we work with small kids, a lot of things should be done before the lesson, okay? Because everybody loves colorful things, but children especially love colorful things. They must see objects. We have to activate not only the left hemisphere, but also the right one. And pictures, emotions are here. So we should make links between those 2 halves, and we can only do it when children are still in kindergarten. Okay, now this is even something for a little bit older students, but even in kindergarten, in primary school, and why not in secondary school, we can, when there is a part of the lesson when children need some relaxation, then we can ask them to color things, and this is the way they just calm down, they rest, they relax. Why not? While the lesson, they should also be allowed to do so. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, something, it is from Twinkle, and it is in Polish, but when you cut out the Easter bunny, he or she will become Easter bunny, not zajączek wielkanocny in Polish, but I do like the craft. It is colorful. Here it's the colored, but I also have black and white. So you can distribute black and white. Children can cut, children can name, children can count how many ears, how many whiskers, how many teeth, how many paws, how many legs, how many, sorry? Dobra, okay. O 11. Dobra. Okay, sorry. How many Easter eggs they can see in the basket. Okay, so they can count, they can calculate, they can point to the paw, they can point to the ear, to the left ear, to the right ear. So you can do a lot of you can what with the language. You can teach the language, you can revise the language, different grammar points, different vocabulary which you want children to revise while they are just making the Easter bunny. I also have Easter bunnies like that, and there there is also a chick, which children can be really beautiful. So I do recommend, again, you work with many different children with many different levels, with many different age groups. So I cannot imagine that you can come on Monday, you can have 8 lessons and you will do the same thing. You will ask children to make the same craft every lesson for 8 hours. Okay, so we also have to change the activities. That's why I decided to show you as many activities that you will be fed up and you will not remember how many, but believe me or not, at least there are 90 exercises which I am going to show you today. So you will have a lot of materials. You will have, I hope, you will have a lot of ideas how to use the materials, and you will not get bored, because after 8 lessons, making the same thing, the same craft, doing the same thing, revising the same vocabulary in the same way may be boring. And we are not that enthusiastic about showing vocabulary during our first lesson as we are during our 9th lesson. Okay, so when we have different materials, we also are more interested and more enthusiastic about the lesson. That's why there are so many different exercises which I am showing to you. I love coloring and I love when children color. Okay, and I will show you, this is in Polish, but you know how it works. Okay, so you can give children a drawing with numbers. Here I have got a lot of Easter eggs. You can give them the clue and they can work individually. But I do prefer making it a picture dictation. I never, maybe not never, but if you want to make it listening comprehension, then it's better not to show the clues. Children just get an Easter egg. And I think it's good to work individually or in pairs. Jutro stacjonarnie, na 8. Dobrze? Okay. Sorry. Tu będę. Okay. Good. So children get the Easter egg. You can ask them to work individually or in pairs. Okay. And you can ask them to prepare crayons, or you can ask them to prepare colored pencils. And before they start drawing or coloring, we should revise the colors. So you say white, children show you a white crayon. You say yellow, children show you a yellow crayon, and you do it with all the colors you want to use or all the colors children have in front of them. Then you ask them, okay, show me a blue pencil. And you wait till everybody shows you a blue pencil. Now everybody has got a blue pencil, but they don't know what number is to be colored blue. So they wait. And there is no problem with discipline, because of course there is somebody who will be first, blue is here, and who would like to draw, who would love to color, but they don't know what. So they will have to wait. And then you say, number 1 is blue. And they color. Of course, there is somebody who will finish first, but he or she will not know what to color next and what color. So they will have to wait. And if you give children the clue, somebody will have drawn or colored everything really fast. So there will be somebody who will be first, and then the person will get bored, waiting for others to finish coloring all the numbers. So when you make it picture dictation like that they have to wait for the color you call out, they have to wait for the number you allow them or let them or make them color, then the problem with discipline lowers. Of course, I have more eggs, more Easter eggs like that. And I do recommend children learning teaching process to start peer teaching. One child gets an Easter egg and he or she is to decide what number is to be color, the given color. So the child decides on the number and the color. And the children are to work in pairs, and one child says, show me a blue pencil. What I, as a teacher, did some time ago. Color number 5, blue. So they give instructions and they control the activity. They supervise the partner and they control the partner. They check the partner. They teach the partner. So we have got peer teaching. It's really great. And of course, that's the time for exchange. So student B is to decide what number should be color, the certain color. Okay, so student A gets an Easter egg. Student B says, show me a blue pencil. Number 4 is blue. Color it or color number 4 blue. And student B controls, gives instructions, controls, supervises, and teaches. Okay, I have a lot of Easter eggs like that, and of course I have a lot of activities which children can use. This one can be also used. It's really fantastic. Okay, so you can start with the not with the individual work, but with the whole classwork. So you, a teacher, you are a controller, you are the person who gives instructions, you are the person who controls, you are the person who checks, you are the person who is responsible for the whole teaching learning process, but you should also transfer some responsibilities to children. Why not? They should be responsible for their teaching learning process. Children or students generally loves being teachers from time to time. Of course, when they are teachers, you should also control. It's not like that when they teach one another, you sit and drink coffee or tea. You cannot do that. Of course, you are always involved in the teaching learning process, but then you show them that they are autonomous, or you teach them autonomy. You teach them how to be autonomous, and you teach them they can also teach one another, that they can learn from one another. And when we do it during Easter, we make them be responsible for the culture, because then they can come back home, and then they may try to draw such patterns on their Easter eggs. Then when you ask them to color Easter eggs at home at Easter, that pattern or the pattern they can choose, you can ask them to take photos, and when they come back after Easter, you can ask them to print their Easter eggs. You can again discuss the colors, and you can discuss, or you can involve past simple, you can revise past simple, you can introduce past simple. What colors did you use? I used. How did you color? I colored my Easter egg or my Easter eggs. Okay, so I painted, I drew, so they can use past simple. Okay, so we can go with our teaching culture into teaching language in a really smooth way. Okay. Something again connected with maths. It is in Polish, but I really love it. It is Easter Bunny. So you can use that piece of paper. They can draw Easter Bunny here. They can draw ears, eyes, whiskers, nose, whatever. But you can also use those things. And then Easter Bunny is made. Dobra, coś ważnego? Momencik, poczekajcie, ale jest Monika, one niech idą do dziekanatu, do Moniki na górę. Dobrze? Monika jest na górze. Dobrze, przepraszam. Ja jestem w pracy, więc jeszcze też kilka rzeczy. Okay, so you can use things like that. So now they have to cut out circles. They have to cut out the ears, so ovals. They have to cut out eyes. So they have to cut out bigger and smaller things, and we know that cutting, here is the culture, but cutting helps children develop manual skills, and then they will write better or in an easier way. So these all crafts are really practical and useful for future. Okay. Okay, sorry for that, but I have some story for older students now. Okay, I will not come back to it after 11. I just open it, so I will do it. Okay, there is an Easter story. Okay, so we have got drawings. We can ask children to color the drawings, and we have got sentences. Okay, so the story is can be done in a written way. So it is a kind of matching for older students or more advanced students. Students get pictures, students get cards, and they have to match the cards with pictures. And you can do it, you can prepare it at home. You can cut out on your own pictures. You can cut out sentences. Okay, I will show you the whole story. Okay. As you can see, that's past simple. So you can revise past simple. You can introduce past simple. You can use Easter story. We have got past passive as well. Was put, was crucified. Okay, and that's the story. Okay, so you can prepare it that way that you can just cut it out at home and bring to school. And again, you can distribute either pictures or drawings or a written text. You can show a picture, and students will have to read the story and will have to match their story, their piece of story to the picture you are showing. Or you can put students into groups. One group can get a set of drawings, one group can get a set of a written text, and they will have to put the story since the beginning till the end. Okay, or you can give every child a written part and a drawing, but they do not match. So they will have to find a story, a written version, or to their picture, and they will have to find out a picture corresponding to the written version of the story. Okay, so you can use a lot of different ways of when telling a story. A lot of reading is involved here, and a lot of grammar work and a lot of vocabulary work is done here. You can also put the written versions on the words. You can distribute pictures among your students, and they will have to go with their picture from word card to word card, and they will have to find out where their drawing should go, and then they stick their drawing next to the corresponding story. Okay, and then you can read the story since the beginning till the end. Okay, and then they can point to pictures which go to the sentence you are reading. Okay, you can also distribute only pictures to students. You read the story till the beginning, till the end. Then students who have got the picture, the drawing corresponding with the first sentence you are reading, stands up, comes to you, and the story, they make a role of a story. Then again, you can read the story, or children can try to tell the story to tell the story. They can try, okay? Or when they stand in a row with drawings, you give them the part that goes to the picture, and they show a drawing and they read the corresponding sentence. Okay, so a lot of things can be done. It can also be made a peer teaching learning process when one child gets a picture, another child gets a story, a sentence, and they are to make a pair. So they go from person to person, they read the story, the person who they read the line, the sentence, the person who has got the drawing is to listen and is to match the drawing with what they have already had, and they say, oh, that's my story, so they make pairs. And then when pairs are made, you can ask them to make the right sequence of a story in front of the class. So they have to decide who is first, or which pair is first, which is next, and how the story ends. Okay, so there are a lot of things which you can do with the stories. Of course, when you work with more advanced students, you can come back to some grammar sentences, and you can do it in the way I have already told you. So you can ask children to circle all verbs green, all nouns red, whatever, or you can use the sentence Jesus was crucified when trying to discuss or trying to introduce past passive. Why not? You can use it, and then they will remember past simple as well after hearing so many times the sentences. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's I have in Polish and in English the coloring, so you know it. Oh, that's a craft with daffodil, my favorite. I really love it. I will show you, okay, because I like it, and it is for really, I think it will work in kindergarten, and it will also work in primary school. And depending whom you teach, and if you want from time to time, if you want the lesson to be more enjoyable, why not to ask grown-up people or students in secondary school to make a craft? And I really love the daffodil. Of course, again, you have got the instructions, and instructions are connected with pictures. So you can cut out. Of course, the easiest way is just to give that piece of paper to everyone, but don't do that. Just cut out the instruction, cut out the drawings, make students do a matching activity. Okay, so they will have to read the instruction and they will have to try to find a corresponding picture. And then why not ask them to make the craft? They will really, I hope they will love it, because I really love daffodils, and I think that they are really, really beautiful. So the daffodil is to work like that. Okay, and here you have got bigger instructions. Okay, so you can use this piece for instructions, or you can use the bigger flashcards with instructions as well. Okay, so I think this activity is really, really, really interesting, and I think enjoyable, and of course colorful. And I have got a recipe
sorry for interrupting you, but it is already 11:15. So
okay.
Would you like to present the recipe here at the moment, or after the break?
So the last one here.
Okay.
Weren't we finish at 11 and then quote?
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah?
Sorry, my mistake. Yes, sorry.
Yes.
For
Okay.
interrupting
At
you.
11
So,
and then
11.
there is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So I will continue. I know it is for older students or more advanced, but I think it is so colorful that everybody would love it. It is daffodil biscuits. I don't know if you have ever eaten daffodil biscuits. There are a lot of daffodils just before Easter, so please try to do it. And of course, again, this is a really nice recipe, well done, made in English with a really good language. We have got ingredients, we have got equipment, we have got the method, and you should cut out the ingredients, you should cut out equipment, you should cut out the method. I will erase 1, 2, 3 numbers, so as students will not know what should go, what is to be first, or what should follow what. So you give the cut out recipe to your students. Of course, it is good when they work at least in pairs. They have to find out the ingredients, they have to work out the equipment, and they will have to work out the method. So they have just 10 sentences to make the daffodil biscuits. It is for more advanced students, but if you can do it in primary school for sure, not in kindergarten, because as you see the recipe is quite long. But primary school can work it out. Again, they can work with a dictionary, they can work with a paper version of a dictionary, or they can work with a mobile phones with a dictionary. Why not? Okay, they should understand what is how to make it, what ingredients they need. So then, and when the recipe is prepared, you read ingredients, so they can hear how to pronounce the words, the phrases, the sentences. Okay, and they can check if they put the method in a correct way, in a correct order, or they will have to just replace the points. Connect also with, of course, ingredients can be put in a different way, whatever the way, it doesn't matter, because ingredients are ingredients, so they can put the way you want. But if you read, if you say, and children are to put, when you say 250 grams of butter softened, then they will have to look at ingredients again, and they will have to put the ingredients the way you want. This is of course listening comprehension. Okay, then the same with equipment, and the same with the method. Okay, what goes first? You have a chance to read, you give them the chance to follow you, you give them the chance to read, at the same time they hear the language. So then they can find out how to how to pronounce correctly all the words. And then, of course, you should ask them to stick the recipe on a A4 piece of paper. You can ask them to draw, or you can ask them to make the recipe at home. You can ask them to make the biscuits at home. You can ask them to take a photo at home the moment they have finished, they have baked the biscuits. Daffodil biscuits, really tasty and really smelly. And you can ask them to put the photo over at the top above the recipe you gave them. And of course, in the photo, they can put the biscuits themselves, or they can put the ingredients as well. So it can be a really nice project. They can continue at home. And of course, next time they come back after Easter, they bring the poster with the photos, and then with more advanced students there can be a presentation lesson, so they can present what they did, what they made, with whom they worked, how they made the biscuits, and they can say if they liked, or they can say who liked the biscuits, they can say who didn't like the biscuits, they can say how many biscuits, they can say how many biscuits they made, how many biscuits, who made the smaller number of biscuits, who made the bigger numbers of biscuits. They can discuss the shape of the biscuits they made. So a lot of language, and of course past simple. So we do introduce, or we do also practice, we can also practice some past simple that way. I hope you will like to try the daffodil biscuits. I hope, maybe. Once you try, you can send us the picture. Okay, and the last exercise for that part of the workshop: spring chicks color by numbers. Okay, I really the picture should look like that. Okay, and again, you can give students or children the clue. I like the written version of the just colors they can see. So if you really want students to learn, and if you really want students to be given the clue, give them the clue that way. But of course, I do recommend giving students the drawing without the clue. Then you say, show me a yellow pencil, color chicks yellow. Then after everything has been colored, you ask them questions. What color is? What color are? You can play yes, no, or true, false game, which I do recommend with children, because when you play true, false, or yes, no game, you give the whole sentence. Okay, you say the chick, or two chicks, because we have 2 chicks are yellow. You give them the sentence to describe the picture, the fence, the gate, okay, the hen house, the roof, the sky, the grass. Okay, so you give them the sentences to describe the picture. Then later on, you can ask children to write the description, because you will not ask children in kindergarten to write. You can start in primary school, and the lower level students are not to write the whole sentence. They will have to finish the sentence. For example, you can give them the description, and it can say, the sky is, the gate is, the field is, the grass is, the hen house is, the two chicks are, and they are just to write the colors. And that's enough for children who are that small. When you work with the same picture, you can work with older students, and you can just write the dots is dots, the dots is dots, the are dots. Okay, so they have to find the noun, the object, and then or the subject here, and then they are to write the colors. Of course, with children who are more advanced, you can ask to write a story. So what will happen to the chicks? They can write what chicks want to do. You can ask them what chicks did. You can ask them to write what chicks are going to do, what chicks are planning to do, where they are going to go. So you can ask a lot of different questions. Okay, tell me what chicks are going to do, or you can ask what are they going to do. So they can write stories. So what will happen next? You with children, with students in secondary school, I know that they will come later. You can write the beginning of the story, and you can ask children or students to finish the story. Why not? You can ask them to work in pairs, and you can ask them, person A to write 5 sentences as the beginning of the story, and student B is to finish the story. So they can also work that way. So even with very simple picture, with very simple drawing, we can make a lot of vocabulary, grammar, or whatever age. Okay, good. I think there are 2 minutes left, and if you have any questions. Okay, I can see authentic activities. I can see some. Maybe I can see some question. Okay, somebody's asking about my emails. Okay, I'm writing my email address. Why not? If you have any questions, just feel free now. I know that there are some questions here, so I will try to answer them. Oh, sorry. No. There is something wrong with my email address. No. Sorry, I have to. Okay, I don't know how to. Sorry, that's there is a bottom dash between my first name and. Okay, sorry. I hope you like all the activities, and I hope you will stay with me, and I will come back in 15. There is vocabulary, size, shape, good idea. Thank you. Okay, I think that you like the activities, and I hope you will stay with me. So we are coming back in 15 minutes. Okay, and I hope you like. So see you in 15 minutes time, and I will show you more activities. Okay, so now it's time to. Okej, dzień dobry, witam ponownie po takiej chwilce przerwy. Mam nadzieję, że kawę, herbatę Państwo sobie zrobiliście. Okay, sorry, I will have to do it in English because we have got people from a variety of countries. Okay, I don't know if there are any new people here, but I will continue if you don't mind. I hope you liked all the activities, and I hope you will use, if not all, you will use some of them. Okay, so let's continue, and I will try to finish 5 or 6 minutes minutes before the end of our workshop, so as you will have time to ask me some questions, maybe some suggestions, and I will ask you to tell me what you like, what you didn't like, and maybe you will have some other ideas to share, because I know that you have a lot of ideas. Okay, so let's continue. I will share the screen. Okay, here we are. Yes, we are again. Yes, okay, I hope you see my piece. Moment. Okay, I have something for, okay, I don't like the, okay, maybe I will, okay, I will put the video here, so as I can have more things to share. Okay, I was to sacrifice more time to young learners during our first workshop. Of course, I didn't manage because I made the mixture of activities for younger, more older, less, and more advanced. But I hope you liked all the activities. Okay, for students who are a little bit older, we should use more activities in connection with what I do recommend in comparing cultures. Okay, so more reading should be involved, more listening should be involved, and whatever we do, I hope should be somehow connected with discussing or comparing with Easter in Poland. So I think that will be the activity. Moment. Okay. Okay, for example, I do recommend, it is also for children in primary school, using some songs. When we use songs, it is easier for students, not only children, but it is easier for students generally to remember the words, to remember the phrases, to remember the sentences, to remember the pronunciation, and of course the intonation as well goes smoother into the heads of our kids when we do it with songs. The activity that is at the bottom is the activity which I do recommend when you work with vocabulary. Here we have got the vocabulary connected with Easter in Britain, so just with Easter, but children are to work out the words. Older students very often know how to pronounce the word. When they hear the word, they know what word we are talking about, but when they are to write, they really have problems. They sometimes have less problems when reading a word. They can recognize it, but they really cannot, sometimes they cannot, they have problems with spelling. So when we work with children in older students in primary school and in secondary school, we should sacrifice more time to reading and writing, and of course spelling. And this is the activity which really work out the spelling well. So it doesn't matter what cultural things you are discussing, always think about the grammar, and teachers usually think about grammar points which are going to be introduced or revised during the lessons. And we do revise vocabulary, but very often we forget that we should work out with spelling. So keep in mind that spelling games are really, really important for students in higher level of primary school. Okay, when children are in the fourth or in the fifth grade, they also write, but as I told you before, they do not write whole sentences. They are to write parts of the sentences. Okay, and here you have got some examples of activities writing and reading activities, and of course vocabulary and grammar work as well is also introduced here. Students are to fill in the gaps with the words which are given in the box. Of course, this is not the beginning of the lesson, okay? Before students are to read and write anything, you should make them get familiar with phrases, with words, and with grammar points which you want them to use during the lesson, okay? So we do introduce with flashcards or word cards, or both flashcards and word cards, the words, the phrases, and later on as an individual work, or I always recommend per work, they can do some writing. And you can give students those two exercises at the same time, but I do recommend giving one exercise once you want students to complete it, because if you give two exercises, and even if you don't tell students to do the second one, or even if you tell students not to do the second one, they will, or some of them will try to do the second exercise, okay? So please make sure that students are occupied with one activity once. And here the instruction is in Polish and in English, because students are to take the exercises home, and not all of their parents speak English that well. So it is good when they have got Polish and English instructions. Why not? I told you that the grammar translation method is also the method to teach, okay? And look at the second exercise, which is a really nice exercise to discuss culture. This is true-false exercise, of course. The exercise which we can, or which we should as teachers introduce even in kindergarten, and when they are a little bit older, true-false or yes-no exercises can be done or can be introduced as a reading exercise. So students get here six sentences connected with celebrating Easter in English-speaking countries. It can be a very nice way of introducing Easter time or Easter activities, or introducing cultural or customs connected with Easter with students who are a little bit older. And you can find out as a teacher what they know and what they don't know about Easter. Okay, so, and I do recommend the activity to be done in pairs. You put students in pairs and you ask them to read the sentences, and you ask them to correct the sentences which are false, which are not true. Okay, if you have not that advanced students, or if you are afraid that students may have problems with discussing or deciding on 6 sentences, you can give each pair 1 sentence. Okay, and you can ask them to discuss 1 sentence. It will not take that much time. Okay, or if you want students to spend more time in pairs, you can give them 2, 3, up to 6 sentences. It's up to you. Okay, and when they have discussed the sentences and they have corrected the sentences which are wrong sentences in pairs, then you should ask them to work in groups of 4. So before actually you check, you should make students read the sentences again, and you should make students discuss the sentences with 2 other students. Okay, so again, autonomy and culture, again, language connected with vocabulary and grammar points, and they can read the sentences again. And these are the sentences which they can say, which they can try to learn by heart. So the more they repeat the sentences, the more they read the sentences, the more they hear the sentences, the better and the easier they will remember them. And only then, when they have finished working in groups, you read the sentences, you ask children to say if it is true, or if the sentence is to correct the sentence. You give students the chance. You give students the chance to read the sentence. One student reads the sentence, and other students can hear the sentence. And if there is a problem with pronunciation, you can read the correct version of the sentence. You can read the sentence with the correct pronunciation, giving students the chance to remember the pronunciation better. Okay, and then that's not enough. Then I will put students in a group of 4 or 6 people. It's up to you, and you can ask them to compare those ways of celebrating Easter in English-speaking countries to their own country, to the way people in Poland or wherever you live celebrate Easter. Maybe it is celebrated in a very different way. The sixth sentence is about hot cross buns. And for sure, you know, and maybe some of your students will know that we don't have hot cross buns. We don't bake hot cross buns in Poland. Okay, so they may be interested in hot cross buns. They may be interested in the recipe. They may be interested in the tradition connected with hot cross buns. Or you can decide that it is nice to introduce a text about hot cross buns for students. Okay, so you can continue the listening or reading lesson in the connection with hot cross buns. We can continue with the recipe about Easter bun, which we Easter cake or Easter bun, which we discussed during our first workshop. Okay, so you can continue the lesson in the way you want and in the way you find exciting, amusing, amazing, and interesting for your students and for you as well. Okay, so even at home, you can ask students to, if they don't know answers to the questions, you can ask students to prepare. Okay, it can be like that you can give students one sentence as their homework. They have to find out if the sentence is true or false at home. They will have to correct the sentence, and if they are more advanced, you can ask them to prepare something more about, for example, why they give chocolate bunnies on Easter day. Why bunnies are made of chocolate in England. Yeah, so of course we know because we want them to eat and they are for children, but you can they can find it out, and then they can say something about customs during our lesson, and they can be teachers, they can be those who pass on knowledge to students. Okay, there is a very nice exercise about rolling eggs, of course not up but down the hill, and we can ask students to find out some other Easter games which children in English-speaking countries play. They may find out some Easter games which we in Poland play during Easter. If you are not from Poland, you can in their countries. If you teach online, you can have students for a variety of countries, and then the lesson may be even more interesting. But it is really nice if you ask students to prepare the games or the instructions to games, the traditions connected with the games at home, because then they will find out the language, they will find out the words, they will find out the drama, and then they will be more convenient when talking about the games they play during Easter. Okay. Number 5, they eat chocolate cats. Of course, nobody eats chocolate cats. I have never seen chocolate cats. Maybe they are, I don't know. Of course, chocolate bunnies. Okay, so we can ask about the sweet things they eat, sweet things children in English-speaking countries eat. So there can be another lesson. So as you can see, we can have 6 different meetings connected with Easter and comparing Easter with comparing traditions connected with Easter in English-speaking countries to our own countries. So a lot of discussion, but always remember to prepare something to make students prepare something at home. And when students are more advanced, they can prepare some text about, let's say, for example, I will, allow somebody to come. For example, about games, they can prepare a text about a game, an Easter game, and then you as a teacher can distribute the text about a game among the students in your class, you can ask more advanced students to prepare a text and questions. Okay, so you distribute texts, then you distribute questions, or you can read the questions, or the person who has prepared the questions can read the questions to the text. Okay, you can ask more advanced students to prepare some exercises. For example, let's say a crossword. They can make a crossword at home and bring to our lesson. Why not? Whatever the exercise, they can make a matching game at home and bring into your classes, and then you can distribute the games. Okay, so they can make a flashcard, they can make bingo game. Why not? So they can prepare a game, an activity connected with the text at home and bring it here. Or when they bring texts, okay, you can distribute texts among the students, for example, in pairs, and then you can ask students to read the text and make questions. So they prepare questions, not to the text they have prepared, but to the text their friends made for them. Okay, you can collect the text from your students and you can wrap some words out, and then you can bring the texts again and they are made activities. And when students are not that advanced, you can put all the words which should be put on the board. And students are to work individually or in pairs, but I prefer in pairs, or if they work, when they work individually, after they have finished, before you check, they should check in pairs. Okay, so they work individually, they have a gap filling exercise. When they are less advanced, they can use the words from the board. When they are more advanced, you don't have to put the words on the board. It's up to you, but then they can find out the words on their own, and the text may be quite interesting. Students have a chance to show what they have learned at home, what they have prepared at home. They feel more responsible and of course proud of themselves when preparing some exercises. So it's really great. And then you have got the not the time to rest, but you know that you transfer some responsibility onto the students of yours, and they are when they prepare something at home, when somebody works with the text during the lesson, when the teacher or a teacher prepares something or makes something with the text and makes it a teachable tool, then they are so proud, more interested, more fascinated with the learning process, and they can be better students, and they for sure will remember better. For them it's a culture, but of course for us it's more the for us it's more the language which we want them to learn. Okay, when there are again a rhyme for students who are smaller, but what I like about the rhyme is that everything is in the picture. Everything is represented with the flashcard. And even if you work with more advanced students, it is always good. It is also good to have a picture, a drawing, a photo, which students can discuss, which students can write about, which students can describe. Okay. Here there is a rhyme, so we have got a rhyming story, and I do recommend making more advanced students write rhymes when describing, and because it's more funny for them, they should try to find rhyming pairs. Here, it's just the example, so it's quite easy. But when you work with more advanced students, and you can ask them to work individually, but making rhymes or finding pairs, finding words which rhyme may be more difficult. So it is better when you put them in pairs, or when you put them in groups. They will use on, they will use under, they will use between. So they will use the grammar which you want them to be used, and they will try to find out the rhyming pairs made of the words connected here with Easter. Why not? Okay, so it is a really nice exercise. It is funny. I also like working with songs. There are not many songs about Easter which we can use, but generally I like working with songs, and I like gap filling exercise. But sorry, I will say something not connected with Easter, but with culture again, because songs are connected with culture. I just give them a part of a song, and I rap out the words, and I ask them to make their own song. So they have to fill in the gaps with words they don't know from the song, but with the words they think will be really nice there. I ask them to read the songs. I ask them to read the lyrics, and then later on I play the song. I play that part of the song, and then they compare their version to the original ones. And sometimes it happens that their versions are nicer, more original. And this is also they use a lot of different words. So they really learn or revise new words, or revise the words they would love to know. Okay. Good. When we work with more advanced students, I do recommend, as I told you, I do recommend comparing cultures, and I have a really nice exercises, really difficult. I don't know if you know the books. Let's visit Scotland, Ireland, the USA, I think England. There are a lot of books like that, with history, with geography, with holidays, with customs, with songs, with celebrities, with famous people connected with English-speaking countries. And it is those texts are quite more advanced, so it is for advanced students. But when we work with cultural things, with traditions, it is also good to know not only about Easter and not only about Christmas, but also about different holidays and celebrations and customs they follow in English-speaking countries. And of course, again, it is nice to compare it with those in Poland. Okay, and here ready-made exercises. Okay, and as you can see, there is always an exercise before the text. It is connected with the picture. There are questions. Children can discuss them, or students, because it's not for children. Students can discuss the questions. They can discuss the questions in pairs. You can make them work with the mobile phones, and they can find out answers to those questions onto the internet. Even if they use a Polish version of the internet, they will have to answer the questions in English. So it is really nice. Before they start working with the text, it is good to know something about the vocabulary connected with the text, okay? So we have got some questions connected with the text, but before reading, so they are to work out in the text, there are some words which are underlined in a thick printing, and these are the words they may not know. Of course, in the text, there are, for advanced students, there are a lot of words they don't know, and you, teachers, should decide which of them may be really difficult for students. So you should, and if they don't know the words, they will not understand the text. So we should find out the words, and we should find out the ways we want them to work out the meanings. Okay, we can ask students to prepare synonyms. We can ask students to prepare antonyms. We can ask students to prepare definitions, or like here we can ask students to work out the meaning of the words by answering the questions. Okay, they have got two possibilities, and they have to decide which definition goes to which word, and they will know the synonym. So probably they will know the words. They will know the words. Of course, we can also ask them to use a dictionary and translate the words into Polish, and then they will know. We can prepare a crossword. Okay, or we can just tell them what the words mean, what the word means, or what each word means. Okay, of course, then we ask them to read the text. The text is quite long, so again we can ask students to, we can cut the text, and that's what I love about text, that we can cut the text into parts. And if we don't want our students to spend the whole lesson on reading, we give each pair a part of the text. Okay, and they are to read the text, and they are given true false exercises which are shown here to the text. And of course, when they read one part of the text, they will know just answers to 2 or 3 questions, or they will know how to correct 2 or 3 sentences which are given in task number 3. Why not? It's also okay. Or what I also like, it's wall reading. You can put the text on the wall quite far from students, so as they will have to stand up, go to the text and read it. Okay, and I will distribute the 10 sentences among the students, but please divide the class into, let's say, 5 groups. Okay, each group can get 2 sentences to find out if they are true or false. Okay, and in groups they read the sentences, and you can give them, okay, now it's time for pointing out one person from the group to go to the wall, to go to the text, to try to find answer to the text, to the sentences. But of course, never give students number 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. They don't know the numbers, because sentence number 10, the answer to question number 10 is at the end of the text, so they don't know, they shouldn't know that. Okay, so you give them just 2 sentences to correct or 2 questions to answer, but you have to limit the time. So you say, okay, you will have 2 minutes to come to the text to read it, and when the time has finished, you will have to come back to your group. If you know the answer, it's good. If you don't know the answer, then another person is to be pointed out to go to the the wall to go to the text and we'll have 2 minutes to read the text to find out the answers. Okay, so children or students will have to go and come to the reading text over and over again, and they will read over and over again the questions or the sentences and the text. And then you can, of course, check the answers at the end. You can also, you can make the wall dictation in another way. What I like also, I like dividing the text into parts, and I do erase, wrap out the words. And students in each group are to find out what words are missing. Okay, and again, they have to point out the person who is to go to the text, and the person has the time limited to read the sentences and is to remember the word and is to come back and dictate the word that is missing. It can be like that you can give the whole text to each group, or you can divide the text into parts, and each group gets another part about cultures, about customs, about traditions. But you can just give the first part of the text with missing words to each group. And then when they have finished, you can check the words, you can check the meanings of words, you can ask students to make definitions, you can ask students to find out synonyms, you can ask students to find the Polish translation of the words. Then the second part of the text may be done in a different way. You can ask students to work in a group of 4 or 5, as I told you, and you can ask them to prepare questions to the text. So they work with the second part of the text about traditions, about culture or cultures, about customs, and they are to make questions. Then, of course, one by one, let's say they are to make 1 or 2 questions, no more. Because then you will have to ask them to read the questions, and other groups will have to answer the questions, so we cannot spend too much time. And then the third part of the text may be devoted into grammar work. Okay, so you can ask them to find out the grammar points there, to find out the verbs, to find out the adjectives, to find out the nouns. The exercise we did during my first workshop today. So then you can sacrifice more time to grammar work with the third part of the text. And when the text is divided into 3 parts, when the 3 parts have been completed, then you can ask them to do or fulfill true-false sentences which are presented in exercise number 3. So before you actually go to an exercise which is presented in a book, you can do a lot of work, so as students can get not only familiar with the traditions which are described in the text, but also connected with vocabulary, grammar, or pronunciation work, which is also involved here. And here we have got some other exercises, which of course you can use. Gap filling exercise. With gaps, students have to decide what to put, how to make the word which should be put here. And again, we have got 10 sentences. Every student can do 10 sentences individually, but you can distribute this you can distribute the sentences among the students. You can give students, each student can get a different sentence. Why not? Students can get 2 sentences, okay? Students can work in pairs when doing those exercises, okay? So they can work out the exercises with the help of students, but when you see a page full of 30 sentences to be completed, it may be a little bit boring. It may be even disappointing, okay? So, and tiring, may seem too tiring, okay? But when you divide the text, when you divide the exercises, students will learn more and they will know more and they will learn with more enthusiasm. And of course, they will know more about cultures. And at the end, you should sacrifice more time to comparing the customs. This is the text about different customs, different traditions. So you can ask students to work in pairs. You can ask students to choose one tradition to discover more about it at home. It can be a project. They can prepare pictures. They can prepare some drawings. They can prepare some information. They can prepare the story about it. They can find out when the tradition started, who started the tradition. So there are a lot of things they can find out about the tradition. And when they come back, they can say what they have found out about different traditions. They do it in English. They prepare the posters. They learn how to present things. They teach other students. So they are really fantastic about learning and about teaching. Then you can give them task number 3, which is about different traditions. The task is based on the text, but I do recommend not depending the task on the text, but depending the exercise on the project students have presented, because everybody was to find out something about a different custom, about a different tradition, and then they will have the feeling that they have learned not from the text you gave them, but they learned from what their colleagues brought to the lesson. So it is a really nice task, and as you can see, they are to make sentences. So that's why we worked on some grammar points and vocabulary points with the text, because then they can find out. Okay, and here we have got some more exercises, some more tasks, again connected with customs, connected with the calendar, so connected with seasons, connected with months. So they will really know a lot about Irish customs, about Irish traditions, because I have just prepared to show you from the book Let's Visit, but there are, as I told you, there are a lot of books like that in which you can find about traditions and customs in the connection with different English speaking countries. I really recommend the story. And I have a nice quiz for students who are more advanced when discussing not only Easter, but when discussing traditions, because it may happen that when we teach more advanced students, so far they have covered a lot of exercises connected with Easter, but of course it's still good, and they have covered exercises about Christmas, blah blah blah, but they were somehow scattered around the year. But now it's time to consolidate the knowledge. So I have a really nice exercise from the book I love. Okay, yes, you can see it. Okay, it's a kind of a quiz. When you have got more advanced students, you can just prepare it for the lesson. It can be before Easter, why not? And you can ask students to work individually, or you can ask students to work in pairs to find out answers to all the 30 questions. But you can also give students this piece of paper as their homework, to find out the answers to those questions at home, and when they come to your classes, they know something about it. And if 30 questions seem to be too many for your students, you can ask students to choose one or two questions, or even three as their homework. And then they are to find out the answers to 2 or 3 or even one question, up to you at home. And so they will come to your classes with the knowledge. Okay, what I like, I do recommend first the quiz during the first lesson. Ask students to work in pairs or individually and try to answer all the questions. Okay, maybe they know, maybe they don't know. Okay, if there are some questions without answers, you don't give the answers to the questions. You can, if there are, let's say, 5 questions which students do not know the answers, you can divide the class into 5 groups. Each group gets 1 question. They use a mobile phone. And they can find out answers to those questions. If there are more questions they don't know answers to, then they can choose 1 or 2 questions as their homework. They can find out something about it, and then the following questions again, you can talk about the customs again, and then you can compare the answers students found out at home. Later on, you can ask students to choose a holiday. You can ask students to work in pairs, or you can ask students to work individually or as a group. They choose a holiday, and they try to find out everything about the... O pierwszej kończę, mam wykład. Dobrze. Będziesz jeszcze? Chciałam się zapytać, bo przepraszam na momencik, tak? Sorry for the... Nie, a dlaczego mają zabrać? Nie mogą zabrać. A dlaczego mają zabrać? Ja tam wejdę do nich. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you can ask them to work in pairs or individually, and they can find out a holiday they want to discuss, and they are to find out and present everything which is connected with the holidays in accordance to the questions: name of festival, place, date or duration, blah, blah, blah. So everything about the food, about the music that is connected, okay? So it is a real custom they are to discuss during the following lesson, okay? This what is suggested here, students are to find out an imaginary holiday, an imaginary custom, a festival which does not exist, something from their imagination, okay? So I think it's good when they work in at least in pairs, but a group work I think would be better here, okay? So they are to find out the name of the festival. They are to find out the place in which the festival may be celebrated, okay? It can be Hawaii, whatever. They have to find out the date, the duration. They have to find out the costumes. Maybe they can just make the costumes and show during the lesson. So it can be a project, but a project that involves more time, more imagination, and more language. Because when they come, they will have to present the festival in a way they want. It can be a presentation. It can be online presentation. They can make some pictures, whatever. Okay, so with students who are more advanced, the lessons should also be funny, amusing, amazing, and of course interesting. But when we ask them to prepare something different, then they will remember better. And of course, at the end, we can come back to the holidays, to the festivals, which we discussed during our lesson. I do really recommend that kind of working with the quiz. Okay, for students who are more advanced, there's a very nice book with different festivals, and here it's the Easter. When you have a look, even if it is the text for more advanced students, we have got some words which are somehow explained, and here with the use of pictures. Why not? As I told you, even more advanced students, even grown-up people love pictures. Okay, so this is a text about Easter, quite long. I will show you the whole text. The text is quite long with pictures. Okay, again, the text, and we have got some pictures. Easter parade in New York. Okay, we have got some pictures, we have got some story, we have got history, we have got some rhymes, and we have got some questions connected with the text. As you can see, there are four different moment. I will have to move it a little bit. Okay, so there are different exercises. Okay, look at exercise number 1. There are 6 questions. And probably you know that those 6 questions with 3 answers, so multiple choice exercise, okay, are connected with the text. The text was quite long, so you will have to divide the text into parts before students do the exercises. But what I do recommend with the text, it's a very nice text, really. I would love you to start just first with those exercises, okay? So you present the questions, and you can ask students to work in pairs to find out, maybe guessing game, maybe with the use of internet from the phones which they bring into classes, to find out answers to those questions. I don't know if you know answers to all the questions before reading the text. So students can make guessing game. They read the text, they make a guessing game. You read questions and they read answers. Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe some are correct, maybe some are not correct. Then you ask them to use the phone, and they are to try to find out answers. These are not guessing, then they are to try to find answers from the internet. Then you read questions, they give you answers, maybe yes, maybe no, okay? You still say nothing, but you make them find out answers. So it is the second time they read the questions. It is the second time they hear the questions. And this is the 4th time they read the answers. And this is the 4th time they hear answers to questions. So if you do the exercise that way, they will have a lot of chances to hear the language, to listen to the correct pronunciation, to listen to the words, to listen to grammar, to hear the grammar points, the vocabulary, the language, and of course the culture. They will try, and of course they will, in their heads, they will compare it to the knowledge they have. They will compare it to the knowledge they have about Polish customs. They will compare the cultures. They will compare the customs. So they will become more advanced and more tolerant students. And then you come back. Then you can give the text to students, and students can find out answers to the questions. And even now, even if now still the text may seem a little bit long, after discussing the questions over and over again, they will find answers easier. It will, because then first discussing the questions, first discussing the answers, give them the chance to know where the answers can be. Okay, and of course, after reading the text, after the text has been read, you can read questions, and students now give you correct answers to those questions. Okay, that's great. The text is quite long, but the text is full of words. The text is full of grammar. So we should sacrifice more time to the text because of the length of the text. We can find a lot of grammar points which we can discuss. So now we can ask students to find out 5 words. Okay, they are to underline the words. They have to put down the 5 words. And when they have got 5 words, they give the 5 words to a partner. And the partner is to find out the definition of the word. Okay, so a partner has got the same piece of paper with the 5 words, and the partner writes definitions. Then when we have got on one piece of paper 5 different words, 5 different definitions, we can give the piece to the person who is sitting behind us or to partner C. Okay, so the third person gets a word, 5 words, 5 definitions, and we can ask the person to find out the Polish translation of the word, or we can ask the person to find out the synonym of the word. We can ask, because we don't know if students have found out adjectives, whatever, or antonym to the word. Okay, so or we can ask a person to make a sentence with the word. Okay, so on one piece of paper we have got 5 words, 5 definitions, and let's say 5 sentences. Then we can collect all the pieces of paper, and then the teacher may read the definition or a definition, because there are a lot of definitions, and students are to say a word that corresponds. Okay, so the teacher can read a word and students can give the definition that corresponds with the word. Okay, the teacher may read a word, and students may try to say a sentence with the word. Okay. The teacher may read as what word was connected, what word was the one that was put as a main word in the sentence. Okay, so we can work out the text over and over again. Okay. And here we have got another exercise, okay? Here we have got sentences, and in a sentence, we have got the wrong word, and we have to replace it with the word from the rabbit shape, okay? Easter is a pagan festivity. No, Easter is a Christian festivity, okay? So students will have to do it. And again, we have got a lot of, 6 sentences. You can ask students to work the exercise individually. You can ask students to work it out in pairs, or every student can get just one sentence, and they have to correct just the word in one sentence. Then you can ask some volunteers to read the correct version of the sentences, or you can read an incorrect version, and students are to find out the correct are to read the correct version of the sentence, okay? And of course then they will have to put down or write the words which are completely incorrectly written. When we have got the words in the rabbit shape, when we have got the words in an egg shape, we can ask students to make a crossword out of the words. We can ask students to make a crossword in pairs, or they can make a A3 size crossword in groups. And when they put the words in a crossword, we can ask them to make definitions for each of the word from the crossword. Okay, for example, before, the clue may be opposite to after. Okay, so they can be find out. I do recommend making crosswords in pairs or in groups, because individual work, it's too difficult for students to do things like that. Okay, so even if there is an exercise, and this exercise is fantastic, and you can just give students the piece, they can complete it, and it's that's it. But if you ask students, if you make students do something more, then they will be more involved, they will be more interested, and they will remember better the words which are here connected with Easter, connected with customs, connected with culture generally. Okay, I like that exercise connected with the letter. It is a really nice way of making students work out the words, work out the grammar, and of course think about the cultures. Here there is a letter to somebody from England or Great Britain, right, about Easter holiday in New York. So the letter is based on the text we have already covered with our students, okay? And when students have finished, then we can check, etc., etc. And the last exercise, which is presented here in the book, and we have already discussed it. Okay, it is about the traditions. What is the Easter traditions food? Easter traditional food in your country. Okay, you can ask students to work in pairs, and they can write about the food in our country, or they can write a letter about how we spend Easter holiday or Easter time in Poland to somebody who lives in New York, or to somebody who lives in England. You can make it a discussion. So people can say that in New York there are Easter parades organized. In Poland, we do not organize Easter parades. In Poland, we eat something, okay, for Easter. In New York, people don't eat, okay, that thing. Okay, so they can make positive and negative sentences, and this is the way how we teach them grammar, not only culture, not only vocabulary, but also grammar. If there is a person who was in New York or in Great Britain during Easter holidays, they can say what they saw, okay, and what they didn't see during Easter holidays, okay? Or they can also write an article when there are students who are more advanced. They can write an article about how we spend Easter in Poland. They can also write a kind of travel agency leaflet about why is it good to come, for example, or to go to Zakopane during Easter. Okay, so we can make students find out more, not only about traditions and customs in England, but also about traditions and customs in Poland. And I live in Polska, so I know something about it, but I do love going to Zakopane during Easter, and they spend Easter in a different way. Okay, so students can, and I don't know if everybody knows how people in Zakopane spend Easter, so we can also make students be interested in ways we spend Easter in Poland, not only in Wielkopolska or in Warsaw, but also in Zakopane. So our students can learn something about customs in Poland, in Zakopane, or in other places. So we do not only differ. People are different, not only there are differences not only between people or people spending Easter in England, in New York, or in the USA and in Poland, but there are also differences between the way spending Easter or different festivals in Poland itself. So when there is a holiday, we teachers should find out a lot about the holiday, and we should make our students be aware of different customs, be tolerant to different customs, but also be tolerant to ways we in Poland spend Easter holidays, because it differs, and we should give them the language, because they will not know what to say first of all, and they will not know how to say about customs connected with Easter, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I still have some time, so I will come back to some exercises which I have prepared for teachers teaching younger students. I didn't manage to show during the first workshop. Hunting for eggs. It is a traditional game, not in Poland, but now in Poland we also put some Easter eggs. We also put some toys. We also put some presents outside in gardens, so as our children can enjoy the time. And during our English lessons, we teach the game to our students, and we know that this is a game coming from English-speaking countries. So egg hunting is a game which now everybody, maybe not in all countries around the world, but I think in many countries, or in more countries now than 20 years ago, people used to play. And so it can be done that way, that in the picture children are to find out the eggs. Okay. And of course, okay, I cannot, I don't know how to move it a little bit. There is a very nice rhyme for very small kids, which you can use for kids in kindergarten or in lower primary school. Easter eggs, can you see? Okay, I will not read it, you can find out it. And for Easter, it is also, there is also a tradition of making Easter cards. Maybe nowadays we don't send that many cards, but still during our lessons in classes, we should make students make cards. So there is the example here, and cards can be made not only by children in kindergarten, but also in primary school, maybe not in secondary school, but still we should talk about the traditions of sending cards, even Easter cards in the past. I don't know nowadays people who send Easter cards, but I used to send them. So for older students, you can discuss Easter cards in the connection with the structure used to. And then you can ask them to go home and ask parents if they used to send or used to get Easter cards. Then students come back and then you can ask, okay, did you used to send? They say, no, never. Did your mother used to send? Did your father used to send? Did your mother used to get? So you can introduce, you can revise, and you can practice used to with the thing, with the activity people don't follow nowadays, but then they will remember, and still disconnected, we can discuss the changes, because there are some traditions nowadays which we do not follow, or there are some traditions about the hunting game. 20 years ago, it wasn't played in Poland. We didn't play egg rolling, or we didn't play Easter egg hunting. Nowadays, we do play the games, okay? So we can also, maybe there are some customs, maybe there are some activities which we do not follow, as for example, writing or getting Easter cards. We used to do it, now we don't do it. So with more advanced students, we can discuss not only the differences between the countries or the ways people in different countries spend Easter or different festivals, but also we can discuss the generation differences or differences between generations. My mother used to, nowadays, okay, I used to, etc. Okay, nowadays it's more popular, for example, to not to spend Easter or Christmas at home. A lot and more people are going to hotels, are going on holidays, are just going to rest. No, it's not like that we only spend Easter at home and we celebrate Easter at home. So even if there is, as I told you, even if there is an Easter card, which seemed to be a good exercise for children in kindergarten, for students in primary school, you can use the prompt, the idea, if you want to discuss Easter, writing Easter cards with your students. For less advanced students, especially those in primary school and those in kindergarten, whom we have to teach how to write, whose motor skills are to develop, we can ask to do the maze. Okay, they are to find out the way to the Easter egg. But for students, the final product, so finding the way to the Easter egg, is the most important thing. But they should be aware, and teachers should make students aware, that when moving, they cannot touch the walls, because when they touch the wall or the walls, then they are missing a turn. So what I do recommend making the maze A3 size. You can ask students to use a marker, and then they are to try to find the way to the Easter egg without touching the wall. When they touch the wall, they have to rub out the whole way, then they will have to start again. When very small kids have finished the exercise with A3 size, then you can make the maze A4 size, and you laminate it, and again children get a marker, and they are to find the way to the Easter egg without touching the wall. So the path is smaller, narrower, and it is more difficult, okay? But it is how we teach them the letters. First, they write really big letters, okay? Even if it is tracing, tracing is big. They trace big letters. Then they trace smaller and smaller and smaller until the moment they can write in their notebooks. It's the same with the maze, okay? A3, A4, then A5, and A6 is the smallest one. Then it is more and more difficult, okay? So remember that whatever the exercise we use it for teaching English. Children have fun because they are to find the way to the Easter egg. But for us, it's still English which we teach to them, okay? And of course, they will have to find the answer to the question, who has got the egg? I think the rabbit. I think is that because a rabbit is connected, Easter rabbit is connected with Easter egg, so I think he or she is to find out the way. And the second exercise that is underneath, it is an exercise about which I told you during my first workshop, that children are to write, but they actually copy words, or they trace words, but they write words in sentences. They don't write whole sentences, but we show them whole sentences. We show them questions because they are to see in which place in a sentence the word goes. They will remember. It is not learning, it is acquiring the language, but it is global reading. So they head, their mind, their brain will remember the sentences, the questions they see, even if they cannot say the sentences, but later on, sometimes the person says, oh, I know it, okay, you know it. We are sometimes surprised, but the more children can see, the more exercises children can follow, students generally, the more kinds of exercises. It is not like that every lesson, during every lesson, we should ask students to do 5 or 10 exercises, okay, the more the better. No, okay, it depends on the kinds of exercises, okay? So not the quality is more important rather than quantity, okay? But even small children can do crossword, can make crossword, can solve the puzzles, okay? So there are a lot of different odd one out. There is no kind of exercise which we cannot introduce when children are very small, okay? So the more exercises we introduce to students who are quite young, the less problems we'll have in future, because then in future they will know what bingo is, what memory game is, what maze is, what filling the gap is. They will know the kinds of, they cannot name, they don't have to name the kinds of exercises, but they know the exercises, okay? Because later on we put more and more sophisticated vocabulary, more and more sophisticated grammar points, okay? More and more speaking, talking, time, reading time, and they must see sentences, questions, words, grammar points, even if they are really young, okay? I like that kind of exercise, okay? Children are to find out who, okay? So this is a kind of a game. Children draw 5 eggs, okay, and then they play in pairs, egg hunting game, and they have to find out where the egg was put by partner A. Okay, so partner A draws 5 eggs in different squares. Partner B is to try to find out where the eggs have been drawn. And of course, the game is played at least twice, because then we give another grip and children have to, again, student B is drawing eggs, and student A is trying to guess where the eggs have been drawn. It is a very nice exercise, funny exercise. Of course, with students who are more advanced, we don't have to put 1, 2, 3, and we don't have to put colors. We can put words you want. There can be really sophisticated words, quite advanced words. There can be adjectives. There can be nouns, of course, connected with Easter, but more advanced. And then they will have to say, I don't know, amusing rabbit, let's say, okay? And the square is amusing rabbit, okay? And then, yes, no, there is no egg in amusing rabbit, okay? So this is the way they will pronounce 4 or 5 new words, and 4 or 5 words whose pronunciation is quite difficult to acquire, to learn, and to grab. I really like that kind of hunting game, so you can use it. Here they are to draw eggs, but you can ask them to draw rabbits, whatever, okay? And here is the example of exercise connected with Easter, but you can make it whatever the lesson, whatever the topic of the lesson is, okay? Another kind of exercise, they have to make the word out of the letters given. Of course, these are all words connected with Easter, and you can find out the shape, or out of the shape you can find out the word that children, or here students, are going to look for. And we have got something connected with Polish tradition, with Polish Easter tradition. We have got an Easter basket into which we put some traditional things. I think on every table in a Polish house, there is such a basket, there is such a holy or Easter basket. It's up to you how you want to call it. And of course, children are to draw what is written. So they do a kind of a matching game. They have to draw some ham, Easter egg, bunny, sausage, Easter lamb, and of course, some bread. You can do it before Easter, and after Easter you can ask them to bring a photo of an Easter basket they prepared at home, or you can ask them to draw some extra things they put in a basket, and when they come to our lesson, we can ask them a question in English. What did you put in your Easter basket? Or when students are more advanced, you can ask what was put in the Easter basket of yours. Okay, so question connected with just with the Easter basket, but with more advanced students, we can give a more advanced question, but still depending, okay, they can bring photos, as I said, or children can draw what they put, and then they say, I put. So they revise or introduce, or they can practice past simple, and then they revise the vocabulary connected with Easter over and over again, and maybe they after that lesson they will remember more about Easter. Okay, then again we have got some Easter exercises. We have got some shells. I showed you the exercises with shells and numbers. Okay, and I really I call it a snake. Here's not a snake, it's a basket. Okay, but it's a very nice exercises for spelling, because children are to find out the words connected with Easter. among the words written here. And it's not easy because, yeah, you know, all the letters are somehow joined. So students are to look at the words. And when you look at the group, you will find out that there are some words connected with other holidays, or just there are words which are not connected with Easter. So it is a kind of grouping, and we have to, it is math, so we have to teach children grouping as well, okay? And we have to teach them the words which are connected with Easter and which are not connected with Easter. In exercise number 2, the exercises are black and white. So I do recommend making the first exercise A3 size, laminated, and you can give students markers. They can find out the words, they can write down the words, you wrap it up, wrap it out, and you can use the piece of paper again. And the same with exercise number 3. This is a Polish tradition connected with Easter, just splashing water over. Boys do it over girls and girls do it over boys. So it is a tradition in Poland, and it is presented with just with 5 drawings. When you make them A4 or A3 size, you can laminate it. You will have it over and over again, and together with it you laminate just very simple sentences. Hide, splash, here come the gas, put some water in the bottle, get some bottle. A very easy instruction how to play splashing the game on Wet Monday in Poland. Okay, so I do recommend doing it that way. And of course, at the end of each unit, we can say at the end of some lessons connected with Easter, there should be some checkout, so we can ask students to write down as many words as they remember about Easter. Okay, you can do it after Easter. When they come back after Easter, you can just ask them to write down as many words as possible. You can have your list prepared. You can read words, and when children have the same words, they cross them out. So maybe some of them will have more words than you have on your piece of paper. Okay, I have some other exercises, so I will send you the exercises, okay? And there is another piece with traditions connected with Easter, okay? This is the text about how people spend Easter in England or in English-speaking countries. It is something about Good Friday and about hot cross buns, etc., etc. The text has got some words before, has got questions to the text. There is a crossword and there is a project. So on one piece of paper, you have got everything what I have already told you. So when we prepare a text, it's not only a text. We have to prepare some exercises before, we have to prepare some exercises while, and we have to prepare some exercises after. And when a project follows the lesson, it's also good, it's great, it's interesting, it's amazing, and it is teachable, because then students will remember that. Okay, I think that's all from me. I hope that you liked some of the activities, and I hope that you will use them with more and less advanced students of yours. I'm reading the comments. Okay, somebody's writing about modification. That's what I love. Okay, different religions, different cultures. Yes, of course. Okay, and somebody's writing that the culture, the country is rich in a variety of religions. Yes, and mixture of cultures. So we should discuss cultures and we should enjoy. Okay. what is the name of the book? Pani Basiu, Let's Visit Island. Okay, już pani Karolina odpowiedziała. What are the kinds of cultural activities you recommend to apply with advanced students? Okay, different kinds of activities, as I told you. Thank you for ideas, e-certificate. Okay, I think there are no more questions. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Still, we have got 5 minutes left. Okay, thank you for the nice comments. Yes, I like when people like that they like. I know that I think that I gave you, as I said, about 90 different exercises. So your head is full of exercises, activities, but I hope you will find some interesting for you and your students as well.
Okay, can I add something?
Yes, I should. Yeah,
because somebody asked about the book. So you have taken some tasks from Visit Island.
Let's Visit the Island.
Yes, but there is also a book by Adrian Walmark, as far as I remember. I have to check the Book of Days. So it is arranged in such a way that yes, so that you have the same festival and activities for 3 different levels.
I'm looking for, I think I have some books, moment, left here.
And there is another one, festival in English-speaking countries, as far as I remember. But I will have a look. So if you are interested, I can also send you the title and the authors of these books as well.
I think we are talking about this book also. Customs and Lifestyle.
No, I'm talking about something different because it is classic.
Yes, time savers.
Yes.
Okay, so I know what I can do. I can just make a list of the books I use. Yes, and then together with the presentation, okay, we can send the list of the books. Yeah. Do you think, Asha, would it be?
Yes, and if the books that I am thinking about are not mentioned, so I will just add these 2.
Of course. I think, yeah. Okay, yeah, somebody's writing practical, authentic activities. Thank you. Yeah, I think it was to be like that. It wasn't to be a lecture. Okay, it was to be a practical thing and how I use the exercises. Okay.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, so thank you very much, everybody. I will tell you what I liked about the workshop, that, for instance, we can use just a material which is designed for, let's say, intermediate students, but you can use it with almost beginners or advanced. So somehow it gives us for some space for being creative and adapting. Yes, so I think it is very interesting and it is very useful. So as Ula said, you will be sent the materials. You will be sent the certificates, but just one request, because some we have had more registered participants. Not everybody has joined us today. So we will issue the certificates only to those who are present. But we have some people who are who have given us only the name like Margareta or Michał. I can't remember whether we have more Michałs. If there is only one Michał on the list, so it's not a problem. And then we had somebody who used the I can't see this person now, who used the
nickname
or nickname, yes, something like that. But I don't think this person is still with us. So Margareta and Michał, if you could send me an email so I will know your full name. Of course, if you want to get a certificate, because if a certificate is not for you necessary, so you don't have to do it. But we would like to send certificates with full names.
My son's Zoom. Okay, pani Michał is actually Justyna.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so if there are no questions, so once again, thank you very much for your participation. I'm sending you once again the link to some information about the conference, about our next webinar organized by Wrocław Region and Teacher Training College. As I said at the very beginning, so it is not a typical webinar, it is a live lesson, and you will be able to watch the lesson with a group of students from a secondary school. And I think it is quite interesting because it is how about a new language, Ponglish, so in which students or people mix English and Polish words or syllables to make a new jargon, I would say. So it might be interesting. So you are all welcome. Of course, I will send you the information about the workshop. It will be held on the 2nd of April, but I'm not sure about the exact time. So you can expect the email from me inviting you to our workshop. And and later on you have if you scroll, you also have the info about the conference, which we plan to hold face-to-face at University of Poznań. So we will see. Let's hope it will be possible, and we'll be able to meet face to face. And some more information about the workshop. Sorry, this webinar given by Alicja Gałązka. And also you have here the link to registration, and also you have the link to the invitation to the webinar, so you can have a look at the link and you will know what to expect. So thank you very much once again. Thank you, Ula, for your very practical webinar, and I hope to see you soon. So maybe in 2 weeks' time.
Of
so
course.
Thank you very much. Thank you.